Hey everyone, ELD here. So I was watching a match with Dark Depths and Vampire Hexmage, Turbo Depths versus Blue Red Delver. And the Blue Red Delver player had a single Wasteland. Opponent landed a second Vampire Hexmage, and he thought that was going to be a huge problem. And as it turns out, it's actually not. Here's why. So Dark Depths has no counters on it, has what's called a state trigger. This is different than normal triggered abilities in that it only triggers when the condition is met, and it will not trigger again until the ability resolves or is otherwise removed from the stack, like a resolving, counterspell, any other type of reason why the trigger would be removed, ending the turn, for example. So as long as that condition is true, it'll trigger once. As long as that trigger's on the stack, it won't trigger again. So let's take a look at Vampire Hexmage. This is going to remove all the counters by sacrificing it. Now, if it's one Hexmage and one Dark Depths, it's mostly good enough to just, when your opponent sacrifices the Hexmage, to Wasteland the Dark Depths in response. But there's actually a later point that you want to do that if there's multiple Hexmages. So if you have two Hexmages against you, I've got a Wasteland, facing down, Dark Depths, Hexmage, Hexmage, I'm still totally fine. I'm going to let you sacrifice a Vampire Hexmage. I'm going to let you remove those counters. You're going to put the state trigger on the stack, and then I'm going to respond with Wasteland once the state trigger's on the stack. The reason for that is that ability will not trigger again until it's countered or resolves. So even though you have another Vampire Hexmage, you can go ahead and sacrifice that if you want. It doesn't really do anything because the Dark Depths already doesn't have any counters on it. You're not changing anything except throwing your Hexmage into the bin for no reason. So my Wasteland will actually hold off any number of Vampire Hexmages, something that was not obvious to this player because regularly they would, in response to the Hexmage, respond with a Wasteland. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about something that's better known, which is the interaction between Thespian stage as well. So with Thespian stage, what we're going to be looking at is once it becomes a copy of Dark Depths, you're going to allow the legend rule to resolve on your opponent's side. They're going to sacrifice the Dark Depths, leaving just a Thespian stage with 0 counters on it. The state trigger happens, and then you're going to waste, getting a 2-for-1 and making it much harder for your opponent to rebuild, allowing you to potentially either outrace them or just out-resource them. Either way, hopefully that's going to be enough to find victory for you. Often, it's those little understanding of the rules that makes all the difference. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments if there's any other interactions or questions you guys have about the rules at a tournament level that you want to see me cover. And thanks for watching.